Hi, I'm Riddler, and in a previous video I set up a home irrigation system with an automation to turn on and then back off the relay that controlled the solenoid valve, a on-off switch, just like this one. And then the question arose, what happens if that automation doesn't fire the second time to turn off the relay? Am I going to have water going to my garden for 24 hours straight? What if the system crashes and doesn't come back up and you're on vacation? Fortunately, one of the comments in the video pointed me to the on-turn-on event that's available in the switch component of ESPHome. So I started looking at it, and the only downside I found is that you were set to a fixed time. So what to do about that? Well, I figured it out, and here I am to show you what I did. So what are we working with? Well, in my case, it's a sawn-off device. I have this sawn-off device wired into an extension cord that's connected to this lamp right here. And as you may expect, it's controlled by simply toggling the switch, like so. But wait, why did it turn off? Let's take a look. If we take a look at the code right here, you can see there's the on-turn-on event with a delay of 2 seconds. This is why the light turned off, because directly after that, I use switch turn-off relay. Poof, the light goes out. Now, you can obviously set this value to anything you like, and it provides a nice safety net, just in case, for instance, we lost connection to the Home Assistant server. Then, the switch is still going to turn off at a certain time, whatever that value happens to be set to. What if you don't want it to be set to a fixed value? In my case, I did not. What I wanted to do was have a variable input. So what did I do? I created a slider like this. So, with the value of 0, this light is going to stay on forever. If I choose another value, for instance, 2 or 3, the light is now going to stay on for 3 seconds. So, how did I accomplish all this? Well, there's 3 different pieces to the puzzle. The first piece is the input number helper, which is a part of Home Assistant. This is what gives us the slider. The second piece is a sensor that we set up in the ESPHome device. Now this allows the ESPHome device to talk to the helper, which is on the front end of Home Assistant. And the third piece is a lambda block of code which is able to take the state of the sensor and interpret the numeric value. So whatever value is set on the slider is calculated at that moment in time when the device is turned on, and that is set as the delay for the device to then turn back off after however many seconds, milliseconds, or minutes based on what we're calculating. So let's start with creating the helper. First we go to Configuration, and then Automation and Scenes and Helpers. Add helper. In our case we're doing a number, so we're going to click on Number. We'll give this a name, Sawn-off Slider 2. Minimum value is whatever you want it to be. In this case, in order for it to be 0, we have to put a 0, so we're going to do that. And I did an example on mine of 15. Step size is whatever you want it to be. So, for instance, for the home irrigation system, I wanted to do increments of 5, 10, or 15 minutes. So we can set that step size to be something along those lines, say 15, in which case it would make sense to have a larger maximum value than 15. 45, so that's going to give us 3 steps. We want a slider, and we're going to create it. So there we have it, sawn-off slider 2. Now we can go back and change these values at any time, simply by coming into the helper here. Okay? So, let's add that into the UI. We'll search for sawn-off slider 2. There we go. The next step is to add the sensor. So we'll go back to ESPHome, we'll go into the edit of the sawn-off, and at the bottom you'll see that the sensor code is here. Now, I just named this one sawn-off slider 2, so if we wanted to use that one, we're going to change this to 2. And notice that we have platform as Home Assistant here. So that tells it to talk to Home Assistant in order to use the built-in components. The entity ID is what matches inside of Home Assistant. And the ID of this field is what I've named it in order to be a friendly name for me to use in my Lambda. We set internal to true to keep the automatically generated GUI from picking it up. Now on the code in the on-turn-on event, I have the lambda code as shown as so. Blech. So our condition now is lambda return ID. So it's going to get the ID of the shutoff slider and the state, which is going to be whatever the numeric value of the slider is set to. And if that condition is greater than 0, then it's going to set the delay value and do a turn off after such delay. If it's set to 0, it's going to skip over that and leave it on forever until we turn it off. So now that that's all been checked, we'll do an install. I'm going to do this wirelessly because this has already previously been set up. Now once the relay comes back online, you should be able to change the value, and there it is. Right now it's set for 0, so it will turn on and stay on indefinitely. I set it to 15. It will now stay on for 15 seconds. At this point, you've probably noticed that I've been talking about minutes and seconds. It's important for me to mention that that's controlled by the multiplier in this lambda. If it's set for 1,000, that is in milliseconds, which means that the multiplier is times 1,000 to give you seconds. If you want to do it in minutes, then you need to make that multiplier 60,000 because there are 60,000 milliseconds in 1 minute. Well guys, that's all I got for you in this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments down below and I'll try to answer anything I can. I will also post links to all of the pages that I showed in the video so that you can find them easily. And I'll see you next time. I'm Riddler. Welcome to the channel. Here's a shutoff. Look at it. Isn't it nice? Thanks. Subscribe. If you watched my previous video on home irrigation, home automation irrigation,